up, guys? Welcome to the GSL CODES, the final CODES of the year here, and we are now in the Final Four.
Oh my God, Tasteless. It is the Final Four, and you can tell because it is packed downstairs.
Yeah, we got a lot of people here, Korean and non-Korean.
Yes, a lot of people coming to show up and watch some of the best players in the world go at it, Tasteless.
We're going to start today off with Deer against Maru, and end today here with Sulky against Sue.
That's right, we're going through the entire round of 4 this time. Not going to wait a couple days to do the rest. It's going to be pretty awesome, Tasteless. Who do you think goes through here?
Okay, I think a lot of people would disagree with my predictions, but I'm feeling Deer beats Maru.
Wow.
And then I think Sulky, the second one I don't think people would disagree with. I think Sulky beats Sue.
I think Sulky Sue is going to be unbelievably close. Sue has some really nice ZVZ. Sulky has some holes in his ZVZ compared to his other matchups, at least. So I think that one's going to be very, very close. I wouldn't be surprised either way. Leaning a little bit towards Sulky.
Yeah.
But Maru versus Deer, that one's pretty tough for me.
I think it's going to be a 3-2.
You think it's going to be a 3-2?
3-2 here for Deer. Look, Deer is a player that if you guys have been watching StarCraft 2 for years now, you might not be as familiar with. You're thinking, well, you know, this guy is a new and upcoming player. But this guy is a solid Kespa player. He's been looking really good so far in this tournament. I'm just feeling it for him. In fact, I think Deer might win the whole thing.
You think he might win the whole... You think Deer might be the best player in the whole world?
Yeah, actually. I think it's possible. I mean, if I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. But Deer is looking really good. What about you? What do you think?
He is looking awesome. I kind of feel like Maru's going to take him out, but it's a really close one as well.
Well, you know what it might also be?
This round of 4 is not going to look like our round of 8, I don't think. I think it's going to be a lot closer.
And, you know, another thing to note, though, is for me it almost hasn't sunk in yet how solid Maru is. We've been casting Maru for a long time now here in StarCraft 2. And I guess I never expected him to be where he is now, but he is dominating. For me, though, I just look at the way that Deer plays. He seems solid in every matchup, and he knows how to prepare for his opponent. Not that Maru doesn't. Maru could win here.
Yeah, Maru's very good at preparing for opponents, as we've seen in the past, against Innovation.
And you know what? He is also good at preparing in best of 5s or best of 7s. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
It's going to be a good one. I wish that we could just start these games right now. I actually just want to see
me too.
Who are we going to have in the finals. You know, we could have something like Sue Deer, which would really surprise a lot of people.
That absolutely could happen.
On the converse of that, we could have the 2 champions that already won this year.
Which also would be a good finals. No matter what, we have a really good finals here, which is really exciting. We'll have to see. I just got a strong feeling Deer's going to be pretty dominant. By the way, if you're in the studio, welcome. If you haven't been to our studio yet, we are located in the Gangnam area. Not Gangnam Station, but in the Gangnam area at Samsung Station, Exit 1. Entry's free for anything we're doing here at GOM, so definitely check that out. And definitely, if you can, come to the finals. The GSL finals is like the pinnacle of esports. Really.
Yeah, it could be the best day of your life. So make sure that you don't miss out on that.
It should be the best day of your life. So definitely come down and check that out.
Imagine if they don't come to the finals and, like, on their deathbed one day, far in the future. I hope that you live a long time.
Far in the future.
They're thinking back. They're like, you know what? The birth of my child was a great day, but I'll never know if Tastosis was right and that GSL finals is going to be even better.
And then you're going to go, You don't want that to be your last thoughts.
No.
So come down to the finals. It's going to be held at the AX Hall. Correct? That's what it's called, the AX Hall?
It's the AX Hall. I'm not sure
I don't know which convention center that is. We've actually hosted in so many different convention halls out here.
I know it's one that we've been to before.
Yeah. So
check on the GOM.
The production is sick, man. And, you know, just to be at an esports event and cheering with everybody else, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Free sports.
Free sports for the game. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our first players and get a closer look at what we have up. And it's time for our 2 players to come out now. Deer on the left, Maru on the right. Maru is so little. I always forget until I actually walk in the makeup room and I'm like, oh my God, you're actually like a little kid.
He's a pocket pro gamer.
Yeah, he is a super young guy, which is awesome. I think it makes for a great storyline here.
Yeah. Well, Deer does as well. You know, he's such a strong player. He's been really strong for a very long time.
By the way, guys, welcome to the studio here. See, they made the right choice. We saw him outside the studio, actually. We were having our coffee. And then we saw him. We said hello to him, and then we saw him again on the way inside. I'm like...
Yeah, we just keep passing that guy.
Yeah, man.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
It might be a glitch in the Matrix. So here is Deer. He is a really, really scary Protoss player. I would say not as popular, yet, because I think when you look at people like Sulky and Maru, they got a big fan base. But I expect to see Deer a lot more in the future here of StarCraft 2 esports.
I have to agree with you on that, Tasteless. Especially if he can make it to the finals. This guy, I think he is going to stick around in Code S for a very long time to come as well. You can see he's beaten some very good players on his rise through. He took out Supernova a couple times, took out DRG, took out Sleep.
Yeah,
as well, I believe. So, and not the toughest road out of all the players, but those are some really solid guys, especially DRG.
And here is Maru. Maru is a badass. Look at the people he's beaten here.
Yeah, Sleep, Byung, Parting, Kongho, Flash, and Jockji.
Like what?
Well, I guess he didn't beat Parting though. That's a 2-1 loss. But no, that is a solid list of players that he has gone through. See if he can get through one more. Tasteless, get to that finals.
It could happen. Maru is a champion. So we'll see what he's got here today.
That'd be cool if he repeated. And this is just like the new Flash, and we don't know it yet. And like
the new
10 years' time, everyone's talking about Maru or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing about Maru that you guys got to keep in mind who are watching here. Maru is very, very young, which gives him a huge edge in his pro gaming career. If you're a Korean and you're going to stay a Korean citizen, all able-bodied males have 2 years of compulsory military service. So, you know, when that happens, that interruption usually terminates your professional gaming career. We don't see guys come back from the military and perform as well or better than they did before.
Hasn't happened yet.
Has not happened yet, and we have a lot of pro gamers out here in Korea. So, you know, with Maru being as young as he is, he has a long, I think probably prosperous career ahead of him.
I have to agree with you there, Tasteless. He has a whole legacy that he can build. He has just so much time to accomplish things.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's going to be well on his way if he can make another finals, whether he wins or not. Just hitting finals twice in a row, that's insane, man. That's like very few players can do that.
Well, you know, I think he's got a great coach. Gerard is a really good coach for Maru, and I think it's helped a lot with Maru's planning coming into specifically best of fives and best of sevens. He definitely has the right build and the right order, and that's a different animal, you know, when you're in a best of five or best of seven. Would you compare that to something like a best of three?
Yeah.
A best of three, it usually comes down to this. There's going to be one game where somebody cheeses and 2 normal games.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, unless Hype is playing. Now here's our map lineup. We have Whirlwind, Polar Knight, Yunsu, Derelict Watcher, and Akalon Wastes.
Okay. Taking a look at this, you know, for Deer, I think Deer is a little bit more standard than some players that we see, like Trap, for instance, from the other day. I'm kind of liking the map pool and the order for Maru a little bit more. Whirlwind and Polar Knight, those are going to be ones where Maru can perhaps outmaneuver Deer a little bit, and then Derelict on set 4. I feel like this is a good set of maps for Maru.
Yeah, Derelict, I think, is going to be a lot off what kind of openers they end up doing.
Yeah.
And then we just have to go to late game and see if anybody can get a 3rd or 4th base. It might just be 3 base versus 3 base powering.
Yeah, definitely could be. Well, Whirlwind is our first map. And so you said you think Deer's going to take it 3-2.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I don't normally, you know, for me, I think most of my predictions are not surprising. I think usually when I make predictions, I'm like, well, I think Maru's going to win because he was a champion before and Deer is not. You know, it's
you are normally very boring and sound like that.
That's my non-casting voice. But yeah, I mean, who knows? What do you think? Maru's got this?
I think Maru has this one too. So
what's the score going to be?
3-1 or 3-2.
All right. Well, let's find out here as game number 1 between Deer and Maru is about to go underway here at the GSL Code S round of 4. Over here in the upper right, in the red, we have our Protoss player. He is
So Dear.
And here in the bottom right, our young and deadly Terran. He is
Maru Prime.
He's got the collar popped.
He does. That is the Prime way.
He's going to the club.
He's got the Prime style, Tasteless.
That's right. He's going to sea walk out of here if he wins.
He's got a little bit of Marine King Prime in him.
Yeah.
But not too much. He does make pretty good decisions, Maru does.
Yeah, I think Maru is like Marine King Prime Plus.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who would be Diet Marine King Prime, but I'm not entirely sure.
Diet Marine King Prime. I'll think about that for a little bit.
And of course,
see if
I also need to find out who is cherry flavored Marine King Prime.
Cherry flavored.
Did you ever? Was your family soda drinkers?
Yeah, they definitely were.
Okay, yeah, we did not actually have much family. I mean, how much soda in my family. I'm wondering, what kind of soda did you drink, and was it the generic kind, or was it main brand like Coca-Cola?
It was.
That's an awesome wife that dragged you here.
That's true. Yeah.
That's an awesome wife. Now back to our soda conversation. Back to our very important soda conversation.
Yes, a very important conversation indeed.
Did you have crap like stuff. Diet Right or anything like that, or
no,
RC?
No, not really. No, we got the actual soda. It was a little bit more expensive, but with my family being soda drinkers, they liked soda a lot. So
they got soda enthusiasts. I knew this kid, and he had something that was like. These like offshoots of like Dr. Pepper or something like that. I'm not talking about like Mr. Pibb,
like
but
Dr.
it's like
Thunder.
That's it, Dr. Thunder. That's actually what I was trying to lead into. I think I remember tasting that, and thinking this is actually better than Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, like Mountain Mist or something. And I remember all those. Yeah.
What is the Pringles ripoff that you always? There's this dude. Yeah, he's like. They have him in Korea too.
Oh, like Mr. Potato.
Yeah, Mr. Potato, and he's just like, hey, I'm also a guy with a mustache that's selling potato chips, like,
in a tube.
Yes.
Isn't it more normal to sell potato chips in a bag? It's like, no, the tube is good.
Well, nothing wrong. Nothing suspicious here.
By the way, our original is in the red tube. I'm like, really? Did you think of that all yourself? All right.
So we got a fast expanding Terran and a fast expanding Protoss here.
And this is actually command center first, into 2 racks, into another command center. So a very greedy build to start out for Maru. But Deer did a nice greedy build as well. He went for the gateway into Nexus before the core, before the gas and all that. And he's going straight up into his Robo. But it's going to take him a while to figure out what's going on the other side. The fact that there's going to be a 3rd command center. He shouldn't be able to know until the Observer gets over, probably. Unless this Mothership core can dart in and see it. But Maru's like, notice how he's moving his Marines? Yeah. He's pretty aware that this is probably going to be tried. And he actually gets a little bit lucky there and catches 1 Marine alone. But now Maru knows he's out here and he shouldn't be able to see it.
So this is going to be tricky here. What Maru's doing is very greedy, but if Deer is unaware of it, Deer might not be able to punish it. And as Artos has said, he's going to have to wait for the Observer to get over there.
You know, I'm not sure that he's going to do anything to really punish it. You know, he is getting his gases really, really early, and there is the Forge. So, a pretty standard opening here from Deer. Definitely not going to involve any early attacks. That 3rd command center is going to go up without a hitch.
Yeah. Now we have, for the time being, just a little bit of downtime as they just power up. Deer is going to get those upgrades. Maru... He might not lift that command center right away.
Yeah,
he might just use it to land mules and crank out SCVs.
Yeah, like super saturate everything and then go take your 3rd when you're feeling a little bit safer. We do have the Colossus tech coming up immediately here for Deer. Of course, he's getting some upgrades as well. Just playing kind of normal. Here comes his first Observer. Now, if Maru catches his first Observer right as it pops in, that's a terrible situation. He does have Marines in the base. I don't think he's going to, though. The way that Deer's going in, it looks like that observer should be able to figure out exactly what's going on.
More gateways coming in here now. Well placed here, too. There's a possibility that scans are going to miss those. And not knowing the gateway count is actually pretty problematic for the Terran.
Certainly. We see that the observer sees everything. He saw the eBay timings, the factory timing, the add-on timings, and the third command center. So Deer knows absolutely everything about this game, and now we get to see exactly how he wants to react, and looks like that's going to be a fast third. A good choice. There's like no way really for either of these players to kill each other anytime soon.
No, this should be a pretty long and dramatic game here.
I think so. I think this is going to be a pretty big one, unless there's some huge misstep on one side.
Yeah, so we have armored about halfway completion. Blink has started. Stim is nearing getting done, and Terran is going to have 1-1 shortly here.
Well, that's this is one of those huge macro games, Tasteless. You can't, this is. It's like we're just going to watch powering for a bit. I do think that this is going to get stay on 3 bases each for a while, though. I don't suspect that we'll see a 4th anytime soon. Of course, with Deer, he's a little bit slower on his economy, so he's going to have to play a little bit turtly on the 3 bases, whereas Maru, because Deer is getting 3 bases and 2 tech roots at the same time, is going to want to put on a lot of early pressure here. We'll have to see if he ends up choosing to do an SCV pull or something.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. Now, the medevacs are being produced here. When those medevacs are out, that's really where Terran starts to get map control. I don't know if we're going to see dropping or not. This is a map where drops can be pretty good, but Deer has already put things in place to make the drops a little bit more difficult. As you can see here, the 3 pylons in the upper left on the mini-map, one at each expansion, in fact, is going to make it. Now, granted, he can drop and kill the pylon, but that's much more worth it to lose that than to have anything else happen, like he drops and kills your Nexus or a bunch of probes.
So true. Very, very worth it. Just knowing where the medevacs are is going to give an advantage to Deer. So a good thing that he's done that. And in these spots particularly, this is a situation where it's going to be a lot harder for Maru to drop. He has to go through the natural to get to the main base or fly way, way around.
Misclicked with the force fields there.
Yeah.
Did not trap any of those units.
In the meantime, he is getting his 3rd Colossus out. We'll have to see when he throws down the Templar Archives. This is the most important decision as a Protoss player in this situation. Do you grab the Templar Archives a little bit quicker? Do you stay on Colossus a little bit longer? And he's getting a Warp Prism, so that points us towards the fact that he should be grabbing the Templar Archives.
Backing up now is the Protoss. Terran is just maneuvering around the map, hoping to get him out of position. Now, it looks like he's going to attack in 2 spots here. Over at the 3rd, and then he's going to drop in the 2nd, and that's about to happen right now.
Okay, well, the Nexus Cannon goes down immediately. Looks like that drop might not do that much, but there's another drop going towards that main base right now. He has a few Colossus still at his 3rd. Doesn't look like he's going to take any damage there. And pretty solid defense thus far.
Yeah, now this drop the main could do some more damage here. There doesn't seem to be a ton here to defend for that. Oh, the Forge! The Forge!
Oh, man.
Now, granted, the upgrades to the Forge have just finished, so he had started a new one. That's a pretty big blow here.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. You really do not want to lose a Forge. Basically, at any point in this game, that should allow for Maru to stay ahead in upgrades for quite a while.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that concludes the mid-game drop harassment, and
yeah,
the game is kind of normalized at this point. Now they have to decide when do they want to get their 4th bases, and who wants to be the aggressor, who wants to be the defender.
Yeah, the Protoss does have this Warp Prism, so if the Terror decides to leave his base, or let's say do an SCV pull, he will fly that into the main and start warping Zealots in. But yeah, I mean, right now they really can't engage each other. So it looks like it's probably just going to be back to a passive game here.
Well, we have the Templar Archives on the way. Some Immortals being pumped out as well to be added into that army. Really strong composition coming up for Deer. And we do have double Starport out for Maru. So he definitely has some potential here. Now, this drop looks like it's doing a pretty good job so far. Not killing a ton of SCVs yet, but dealing some damage. Warping in quite a few more Zealots.
Yeah, actually doing a good amount of damage. I'm surprised he sent this in this soon, though.
Yeah.
It seems a bit unwarranted.
I am a little bit surprised about that, but it ended up doing a really good job. How many SCVs did he get? 16!
Yeah, he got way more SCVs than he should have, which makes the drop work, but I feel like overall, in game theory, that should not have actually happened. It should not have worked, and he should not have done it then.
There was,
you know what I'm saying?
Much more potential for Maru to block that drop at that time because his army wasn't too far out of position.
You know, I feel like Terrans need to actually just fly their Vikings up in the Bacon area, and you know what I'm talking about, above the main. This is pretty much standard procedure here from Protoss, so it's not like you can't check for that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always a warp.
We do see a decent amount of Terrans throwing like at least one Viking over the side a lot of the time, but you know, in this game, he is just keeping his Vikings all together. He knows there's a lot of Colossus.
This drop could be huge.
Yeah.
And you can see Deer's headed back over here to stop this, but the distance here on a map this big, it's going to be pretty problematic. Meanwhile, Maru actually moving out with the rest of his army over here.
Well, he does have some High Templars to try to help out.
You know, this is actually such good placement here. I think it's the Templar Archives. Ooh. Oh my god, Maru is actually dominating so hard right now.
Well, that's a lot of splash damage tech being taken out. Oh, a big warping around, and he actually did not target that down.
He does. It's just there.
He does get it. A little force going into that third base right now as Deer is taking a forward.
Well, looks like he's going to go back up. Now, we're catching the tail end of the War Prism harass over here.
He's killed a few more SCVs, who are down to 51 SCVs for Maru.
I think actually Deer's lost hope. He's going to try to do an all-in. We're in a base trade scenario now. Deer headed southbound.
That's right. This third base definitely going to be taken out, it looks like. Oh, another Colossus. No, that's definitely enough Marauders to deal with all this for now. And Deer actually does turn around, but he's going to lose this base.
Nicely
his
done
fourth is going to go down too then.
Deer is not being decisive enough right now. This is actually completely falling apart. In fact, Deer probably should pull probes or something and just try to attack here with everything.
Oh, man.
This game's a bit of a disaster. Maru, the master of tactics here, is just outmaneuvering his opponent in every corner.
He is, but this is still a really good army. 2 Immortals, 4 Colossi, 11 Blink Stalkers, 6 High Templars, and 2 upgrades, which are equal to, or very close to Terran upgrades, actually. I think it's 3 did finish, so. This is a really scary army still. A lot of this is going to come down to EMPs.
I'm surprised he's actually moving out here. I don't feel like it's necessary for Maru to attack here right now. You know?
He's got to be careful with those time warps there, that's for sure. He does come in, flank on the other side, trying to get some EMPs off, but 3 High Templars still have a lot of energy right now. Those Vikings going to work. 2 Colossi are left over.
You know
Side
what?
Storms landing everywhere.
Actually, the Protoss engagement... What? The Protoss engagement, I can't talk, was so good and so well executed that now Maru actually has a serious problem on his hands.
Well, he did end up getting rid of the High Templars, but more Zealots coming down right now. Only 3 medevacs left. He does have that bunker, but with the 2 Immortals in there and the Archon as well, this is a ton of damage.
I can't believe this. Is Deer actually going to win this?
I think so, Tasteless.
I can't believe this, man.
Well, you know, a few different things happened in this game that really helped him. GG, Deer takes that first game. That was well played on both sides, but you know what? Deer did kill 25 SCVs, and though Maru did do some good drops, his ghosts were a little bit late this game. He kind of neglected them for a bit in favor of getting a few more Vikings out, getting a slightly bigger, more powerful ground army, and that allowed those Psy Storms to really wreak havoc.
You know, here's the thing I think Maru should have done there. When he saw that army moving out, he should have evacuated all the SCVs into the second and hunkered down. You know what I mean? He could have used his Vikings, I think, to try to shave off some Colossi here and there. I think Deer can't even believe he won that.
Well, he lost those Nexi. He had to go, right?
Yeah, but then it actually worked. That rarely happens, guys.
He had the right unit composition, seriously. Those 2 Immortals were pretty heroic in there. The lack of ghosts from Maru, a big deal. The fact that he caught him with those time warps right there really made it almost impossible for Maru to engage.
Yeah, I feel like Maru should have booked it out of there.
It's a hard spot because you can't run forward or he'll kill you, and you can't stay back or your third base is gone and you lose the game anyways.
That's true.
It was a tough spot for him, but you know what? It's not like he played a terrible game or something. He showed that Deer definitely has some flaws that Maru can kind of pick apart, if you know what I mean. Like he did out multitask, tactically outmaneuvered. Oh my God, I'm just stumbling over my speech today. But we'll see, man. Polar Knight, a better map for Maru as long as he doesn't die to an all-in.
That's very true. So let's go to game number 2 here in this best of 5. Deer's already up 1. Can Maru turn this around? We're going to find out soon here at the GSL Code S.